On the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the South Korea-US alliance, South Korea President Seok-yeol is on a 7-day state visit to the United States. Seok-yeol has an intensive itinerary, including meeting with US President Biden and delivering a speech at a joint meeting of the two houses of the US Congress, hoping to promote South Korea-US relations to a higher level. In order to hand over the enrollment fee for the gun for this trip to the United States, Seok-yeol has been very active recently. He stimulated China and Russia at the same time, saying that he would provide military aid to Ukraine. When he visited Japan for humiliating diplomacy, Seok-yeol's statement on the nuclear issue was even more alarming. Here's a recording of Seok-yeol's speech at Seok-yeol University disclosed by a Twitter user.
우리도 북핵 위협이 고도화되면 핵무장을 할 수도 있는 한국과 일본 정도의 이런 과학기술력을 갖춘 북한은 언제든지 마음만 먹으면 북한이 30년에 걸려서 해놓은 일을 그 수십 분의 1의 기간으로
Seok-yeol said South Korea can process nuclear weapons through multiple tests in the future. Our technology can produce more nuclear weapons than North Korea in a short period of time. Why not? If North Korea's provocation level increases further, we can deploy tactical nuclear weapons or have our own nuclear weapons. Seok-yeol University is an extreme right-wing university funded by Ito Hirobumi's teacher Fukuzawa Yukichi. Seok-yeol here seems to have forgotten the long-term and extremely heavy disaster that Japanese militarism brought to South Korea. Has Seok-yeol decided to choose a side between China and the United States? Is here nuclear talk merely intimidation or the real motive? What is his reason and starting point? What will be the consequences? To this end, we interviewed several senior international relations experts.
South Korean President Yoon Seok-yeol has been very, very active in submitting himself, humiliating himself to the United States and to Japan. And at the same time, he's been provoking China and Russia. Has he decided to choose a side between China and the United States? I think the key thing to understand is that South Korea has always been a US para-colony. It exists only by virtue of being a US colony. Currently, there are 30,000 troops, American troops. The US controls South Korea's military. It literally has operational control over South Korea's military. And when the United States says jump, the South Koreans say how high. South Korea is being used as a force projection platform and a force multiplier for the US military as it escalates to war against China.
His statements last week and in January of South Korea considering developing its own nuclear weapons. What was really at play is the US wants to bring nuclear weapons back to South Korea. So if anything shows the real character of South Korea today, which is accepted by every president, but President Yoon, who's an extreme right-winger, who's determined to break strikes and attack workers' movements in the most reactionary way, he is, from the very beginning, wanted to resume the testing, the war games, which have really stepped up. And so we see a very dangerous development happening in South Korea, in Taiwan, which is referred to as a porcupine, literally bristling with weapons.
South Korea is a signatory to the NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And when he says this is literally an act of madness. It's really totally and completely unacceptable.
Nuclear weapons in South Korea will not make us a safer world, but a much more dangerous world. And although it would be a violation of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the United States has placed nuclear weapons on a number of its territory of its allies. And this is a very dangerous act. And it's a very provocative statement to say that they will make their own nuclear weapons and keep them on their territory. It also makes the South Korean people, puts them in more danger. It puts a target on them that wasn't there before to the same extent. If there's any kind of war and nuclear weapons are involved, South Korea will be a target. That's a very dangerous situation.
So we're in a very, very dangerous situation. And these are not exercises, they're literally rehearsal for war. And you can see that the tenor and the quality and the type of exercises are becoming more and more explicit, more and more lethal, and more directly tuned into the operational conditions of waging kinetic war. And so that's the danger that we're facing. And this is why resistance in the imperial core against these plans of war are so important.
Absolutely. We're in the belly of the beast in the United States, and we have to understand that. And I think there is resistance that is developing, especially in Europe, but also in the United States. But we have to build that, and we have to organize for that.
As the Russian-Ukrainian war continues, dangerous provocations by imperialism in other regions are also intensifying. The world is in unprecedented danger. All righteous people must